It appears that Israel has killed two of the key potential successors. Of course, it began with Hassan Nasrallah, that massive bombing of his compound, which is just a short way behind me, few kilometres that way in the southern suburbs of Beirut. And they bombed so heavily the building collapsed. Hassan Nasrallah was underground, and it's believed that he suffocated. He couldn't obviously breathe because the building had collapsed around him. Then he had the two key successors who were likely to replace him. Both are now dead, it appears. As you say, Hashem Safar-Eddin has been killed. Hezbollah for the last few days have been saying we lost contact with him. It's clear now. It appears clear that he's dead. Also, they have killed recently Suhail Hussein Husseini. Now, he's a crucial figure. He was the head of logistics. He was on the Jihad Council or the War Council, and he was the man in charge of the transfer of weapons from Iran into Lebanon and to Hezbollah, and he has been killed. So these are two major blows for Hezbollah. And on top of that, now the acting deputy of Hezbollah, Naim Qassem, is now saying for the first time, we are prepared to look at a ceasefire.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, Hezbollah has hinted at supporting a ceasefire, but has also continued with the barrage of rockets into Israel. Just how legitimate are these claims, and what would make it work?
I think what this indicates is that Hezbollah is under huge pressure. To put it bluntly, Hezbollah's losing this war. Israel has far superior firepower, aerial power, jets, drones, now limited incursions in ground troops in the south. Hezbollah has, over the years since 2006 war, the last war between Hezbollah and Israel, has built up their whole missile system in the south of Lebanon. Now, but what Israel is doing, and in that war, Israel came in on the ground, and it was treacherous for Israel. So this time, they've clearly learnt from that. They're coming in limited incursions, but before they come in, they're hitting with artillery and jets are hitting. So Hezbollah are retreating to get away from this fire, and then Israel is coming in on the ground, going to the weapons caches or whatever they're looking for, exploding or destroying them, and then leaving. So Hezbollah, for the first time, is saying, we want a ceasefire here in Lebanon, and it's not conditional upon the ceasefire in Gaza. Up until now, they've always said, until there's a ceasefire in Gaza, we don't stop firing our rockets.
So tell me, with respect to what you've just mentioned there and this reduced capacity that we're seeing from Hezbollah, what has the past 24 hours been like in Beirut, the people there? We know that 1.2 million so far have been displaced.
That's right. Yesterday I went for a drive around the city here, and there's a lot of people, displaced people. You're seeing women and children down by the Corniche or the waterfront here in Beirut, trying to sleep there to get away from the devastation of Dahia, which is behind me here. And you're seeing also the divisions within Lebanon. This is bringing all of them to a head. Hezbollah, of course, is not the official army of Lebanon. So not everybody in Lebanon certainly supports Hezbollah. They're a Shia militant organisation. And in Lebanon, of course, there's a lot of Christians and there's a lot of Sunni Muslims. And so that's really created a division, because a lot of the Sunni and the Christian Lebanese I've spoken to say Hezbollah has brought this upon us.
So, John, with respect to what we were just talking about before, about their potentially wanting a ceasefire from Hezbollah and it not being contingent on a deal being done in Gaza, where does this leave Gaza?
Well, Gaza, the focus obviously in recent weeks has been very much on Lebanon and Hezbollah and possibly Iran now, which is perhaps an imminent attack by Israel on Iran. But Gaza it continues to descend into a worse humanitarian catastrophe. The pictures coming out of Gaza, the bombings of Gaza, the bombings of the refugee camps, it's absolutely shocking. It was 9 or 10 months ago we talked on the news channel about not getting medical aid into Gaza, that operations were being done without anaesthetics and bandages. It's worse now. And a lot of people, there are dying of diseases. And if you've got cancer or you've got a serious medical condition in Gaza, you can't get treatment because the hospital system has essentially collapsed. So people are dying from all of those things, not just the bombing. And so it's just catastrophic what's going on. So we now have 2.3 million people in Gaza who essentially are in a place that's now unlivable. There's 1.2 million here who are displaced. 400,000 people from here have left and tried to get back into Syria. A lot of them came as Syrian refugees. So parts of this city are tragic.
We know that the conflict has opened up now on multiple fronts, not only in the border in the north, but also that continues in Gaza. What further pressure is this putting on Iran to be drawn into the conflict?
Well, now that decision essentially, I think, is now up to Israel, up to Benjamin Netanyahu and his government. I have no doubt, I believe, based on talking to people here and in Israel, that the Israelis are going to begin some military action against Iran in the next day or two. The Americans are saying, please don't hit their nuclear facilities or their oil facilities. The United States knows that if Israel hits Iran's nuclear facilities, then that takes it to a whole new level. And the oil facilities will prompt an energy crisis and the world financial markets will go into chaos. I think what Israel is likely to do is to try to hit what they will say are military installations around Iran.
And just finally, before we do let you go, John, just how do you feel being a journalist over there covering this story with respect to your safety?
Catherine, well, look, it's Beirut. It's not, it's not a city in Australia. There is a danger here, but we are careful what we do. We have a very good security advisor with us on the ABC team, and we try to work out before we go somewhere, we try to get a safety check. And there's parts of this city that are not touched, but, we're here to do a job, and I feel reasonably safe.